The grand hall of the Galactic Council glittered with the light of 1,000 stars. Tall windows stretched from floor to ceiling, showing the vastness of space beyond. At the center of the hall stood two humans, Tom Reed and Anna Wilson, the last representatives of Earth. "The evidence against your species is clear," boomed the voice of High Counselor Drell. His blue skin shimmered as he rose from his ornate chair. 6 eyes blinked in unison as he looked down at the humans. Earth has been deemed too unpredictable, too dangerous to remain connected to galactic society. Tom stepped forward, his hands shaking slightly. "Please, High Counselor, we have only just begun to explore the stars. Our people have so much to offer." "Like war?" interrupted Counselor Vex, a tall, thin alien with gray skin. "Your history is filled with endless conflict. Even now, your nations fight among themselves. All young species have growing pains," Anna argued, her voice firm despite her fear. "We've made great progress in the last century alone. We deserve more time." The hall filled with murmurs from the hundreds of alien representatives. Some nodded in agreement, but most shook their heads or whatever passed for heads on their strange bodies. High Counselor Drell raised his hand for silence. "We have watched Earth for over 200 years. Your technology grows faster than your wisdom. Your weapons advance quicker than your peace. The Council has voted." Tom felt his heart sink. "And the vote?" "Exile," Drell said simply. "Earth will be cut off from all galactic trade routes and communication. A shield will be placed around your solar system. No one may enter. No one may leave." "You can't do this," Anna shouted, her diplomatic calm finally breaking. "There are thousands of humans on other worlds. Ships in deep space. You would cut them off from their home." Counselor Vex smiled coldly. "Those outside the shield may apply for citizenship with Council worlds. As for ships in transit, they will have to find new homes." Tom looked around the hall desperately, searching for friendly faces. He spotted Counselor Mira, who had always been kind to humans, but even she lowered her eyes, unwilling to speak against the majority. "When?" Tom asked, his voice hollow. "The shield generators are already in position," Drell replied. "You have 12 hours to return to Earth. After that, the exile begins." As guards moved to escort them out, Anna turned to face the Council one last time. "You're making a mistake. Humanity won't just disappear because you've locked us away. One day, you'll need us." Her words echoed in the silent hall. No one responded. Back on their ship, Tom and Anna watched the stars streak by as they raced toward Earth. They had sent urgent messages ahead, warning their government about what was coming. "Do you think anyone will escape in time?" Anna asked, staring out the viewport. Tom shook his head. "Not many, but there are 23 human ships currently outside our solar system, plus the research stations on Proxima Centauri and the mining colony on Titan's moon. All cut off from home," Anna whispered. As they approached Earth, they could already see the faint shimmer of the shield beginning to form, massive alien ships positioning themselves in a perfect sphere around the solar system. "They think they're containing a threat," Tom said quietly. "But they've just backed a clever animal into a corner." Anna nodded, a small determined smile forming on her lips. "And there's nothing more dangerous than a cornered human." The shield closed 12 hours later, sealing Earth off from the galaxy beyond. The Galactic Council believed they had solved the human problem. They were wrong. Captain James Miller stared at the empty spot where Earth should have been visible on his ship's long-range scanners. The research vessel Pathfinder and its crew of 30 had been on a 3-month study mission when all communication with Earth suddenly stopped. "Still nothing, Captain," reported Alex, his communications officer. Her eyes were red from lack of sleep. "It's been 2 weeks now." James ran a hand through his short brown hair. "Keep trying all frequencies." The Pathfinder drifted in the darkness of deep space, far from any star system. Their mission to study a nearby nebula now forgotten as they desperately tried to contact home. "Captain," called Jack, the ship's pilot, We're picking up a signal. It's not Earth, but it's human. James rushed to the console. Put it through. Static filled the bridge, then cleared to reveal the face of a woman with dark skin and tired eyes. This is Captain Diane Hall of the transport ship Horizon. If any human vessels can hear this, please respond. Captain Hall, this is Captain Miller of the Pathfinder. What's happening? We've lost all contact with Earth. Diane's expression grew grim. The Galactic Council has cut Earth off from the rest of the galaxy. They've placed some kind of shield around our entire solar system. No one gets in, no one gets out. James felt his stomach drop. Why would they do that? They claim we're too dangerous to be part of galactic society, Diane said bitterly. My ship was delivering supplies to Proxima Station when it happened. We've been trying to contact other human ships since then. How many of us are out here? James asked. So far, we've confirmed 23 ships and 2 space stations, all stranded. Over the next few days, the Pathfinder joined with 5 other human vessels. They gathered in an empty star system, far from busy trade routes. The captains met on the largest ship, a cargo vessel called the Titan. We need to stick together, said Captain Hall as they sat around a makeshift conference table. Our supplies won't last forever. What about seeking help from friendly aliens? Suggested James. Not all of them agreed with the Council's decision. Captain Frank West of the mining ship Digger shook his head. Too risky. The Council has declared that any world helping stranded humans will face sanctions. Then we make our own way, said Mary Parker, captain of the science vessel Nova. We have engineers, scientists, miners, and farmers among our crews. We can build something here. The Earthless Fleet, James said quietly. The others looked at him. That's what we are now, he continued. Fleet without a home, but not without hope. Over the next months, the human ships worked together. They built a small station using materials from a nearby asteroid belt. More human ships found them, bringing new skills and resources. James stood at the viewport of the newly constructed observation deck, watching as the 23rd human ship docked with their growing station. They thought they were getting rid of a problem, said Alex, who now served as his second in command. Instead, they scattered us throughout the galaxy. James nodded. And now we're everywhere, watching and learning. A small alien ship appeared on their sensors. It approached cautiously, transmitting on an encrypted channel. Captain, called Jack from his new station. It's a Lauren trader. They're requesting permission to dock. James smiled. The Laurens had always been friendly to humans, even before the exile. Let them in, he said. Let's see what news they bring from the galaxy that rejected us. As the alien ship docked, James felt a surge of determination. The Galactic Council had tried to contain humanity by cutting off Earth. They didn't realize that they had only forced humans to become more resourceful, more determined. And someday, the galaxy would know just how big a mistake that was. 5 years had passed since the shield went up around Earth. Inside the shield, humanity had changed in ways the Galactic Council never expected. Commander Lisa Torres walked through the underground base known as Breakpoint. Here, 3 miles beneath the surface of the Atlantic Ocean, Earth's best scientists worked on a single goal, breaking through the alien shield. Progress report, Lisa said as she entered the main lab. Her uniform was different from the old military ones, sleeker, with subtle patterns that seemed to shift in the light. New materials, developed after the exile. Dr. Robert Wilson looked up from his workstation. Dark circles under his eyes showed his lack of sleep. We found something, Commander. A weakness in the shield's energy pattern. Lisa tried not to let her excitement show. They had found weaknesses before, only to be disappointed. Show me. Robert pulled up a 3D model on the large screen. The shield appeared as a blue bubble around the solar system. The aliens use a technology based on quantum linking. But every 17 days, there's a 3-second pulse where the field becomes weaker here, near Jupiter's orbit. Weak enough to get a ship through. Lisa asked, Not yet, but weak enough to send a signal. Lisa's eyes widened. You mean we could contact the outside? Exactly. And if we can send a signal, we can eventually find a way to break through completely. Lisa finished his thought. Across the room, another scientist called out, "The President is online for your daily briefing, Commander." Lisa nodded and stepped over to the communication station. The face of President Thomas Gray appeared on the screen. He had been a young senator when the exile began. Now he led a united Earth government. "Commander Torres, how goes the SHIELD project?" he asked. "We've had a breakthrough, sir. We might be able to send a signal through during the SHIELD's pulse cycle." The President's eyebrows rose. "To whom?" "We don't know if there are any humans left out there." "There are, sir. There must be." Lisa spoke with firm conviction. "And if they're out there, they're looking for a way to help us, just as we're looking for a way to help them." After the briefing, Lisa took the high-speed mag train to New Geneva, the new capital city built after the old power centers were destroyed in the chaos following the exile. Through the train's windows, she watched the countryside flash by. Earth had changed dramatically. Without alien technology to rely on, humans had been forced to innovate. New energy sources powered cities. Advanced farming methods fed the population. The initial riots and panic had given way to a new sense of global purpose. Lisa stepped off the train into the bustling central plaza of New Geneva. Screens on buildings showed news from around the world. A new water purification system in Africa, a breakthrough in medicine from Asia, engineering advancements from the Americas. The exile had forced humanity to work together as never before. In her pocket, Lisa's communication device buzzed. A message from Robert. "Test successful. Signal penetrated shield during pulse window." Lisa smiled to herself. The Galactic Council thought they had contained a dangerous species. Instead, they had given humanity exactly what it needed: a common enemy and the motivation to advance beyond what any alien race thought possible. As she walked toward the government building for her meeting with Earth's united leadership, Lisa thought about what might be happening outside the shield. Were human ships still out there? Had they survived? Had they found allies? One thing was certain: Earth was no longer the same planet that the Council had exiled. And when the shield finally fell, the galaxy would face a humanity it never expected. The countdown had begun. In 17 days, they would send their first message to the stars, a simple message that would change everything. "Earth is coming." Captain James Miller stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Phoenix. In the 7 years since Earth's exile, the scattered humans had built something remarkable. The Earthless fleet now numbered over 50 ships, some salvaged, some traded for, and some built from scratch in hidden shipyards. "Vorn ships detected," Captain reported Jack, now his trusted tactical officer. "They're attacking the Council colony on Ilara Prime. 3 warships against a civilian settlement." James frowned. The Vorn Empire had always been rivals of the Galactic Council, but open attacks on civilian targets were new. How many colonists? About 8,000, mostly Council citizens, but there are also refugees from several neutral worlds. "Distance to our position." 2 hours at maximum speed, sir." James hesitated. For years, the Earthless fleet had stayed hidden, gathering strength and information. They had strict rules about not interfering in galactic politics, but 8,000 innocent lives. "Sir," Alex spoke up from her station, "the colony has no significant defenses. The Council forces are engaged in battles across 3 sectors. No one else is coming to help them." James made his decision. "Set course for Ilara Prime, battle stations, and send word to any nearby fleet ships to rendezvous with us there." As the Phoenix and 2 other human ships raced toward the colony, James addressed his crew over the shipwide comm. "This will be our first direct action against an alien force. We are not fighting for the Galactic Council that betrayed us. We fight because innocent lives are in danger, and because it's the right thing to do. Today, we show the galaxy what humanity stands for." The Phoenix dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Ilara Prime. Below them, the planet's surface showed the burning marks of Vorn bombardment. 3 sleek, angular Vorn warships circled the main settlement like hungry predators. "They haven't noticed us yet," Jack said. "Their sensors are focused on the planet." "Target their weapons systems," James ordered. "Fire when ready." The Phoenix fired first. Its advanced weapons, developed through a mix of human innovation and alien technology they had acquired, striking the nearest Vorn ship with surprising force. The enemy vessel spun away, damaged but not destroyed. "They're turning to engage," Alex reported as alarms blared across the bridge. The space around Ilara Prime lit up with weapons fire. The 2 other human ships joined the fight, moving with a coordination that caught the Vorn by surprise. "Their tactics are rigid," James observed as he watched the enemy ships maintain traditional Vorn attack patterns. "They don't adapt quickly." He gave new orders, and the human ships broke formation, executing maneuvers that no council captain would have attempted. They darted between the Vorn vessels, striking from unexpected angles. On the main view screen, James watched as civilians on the planet below looked up at the battle raging in their sky. They had expected death. Instead, they were witnessing their unexpected salvation. Within 30 minutes, 1 Vorn ship was disabled, another heavily damaged, and the third retreating into faster-than-light speed. "Scan for survivors on the damaged ships," James ordered. "Sir," Alex said, her voice tight with concern. "We're receiving a transmission from the colony. A council diplomatic vessel just arrived. They're asking who we are." James smiled grimly. "Tell them we're just passing through. No need to mention Earth." As medical teams departed for the planet's surface to help the injured colonists, James knew their days of hiding were over. News would spread quickly across the galaxy. Unknown human ships had defended a council colony against the Vorn. The council would be confused, the Vorn angry, and everyone else curious. "Sir," Jack called out, "one of the colony administrators is requesting to speak with our captain. He wants to thank you personally." James nodded. "Put him through." It's time the galaxy remembered the humans they tried to forget. Commander Lisa Torres stood in the control room of Project Breakthrough, watching as technicians made final adjustments to the massive device they had built. After 7 years of work, they were ready to test their shield disruptor at full power. "All systems are green, Commander," reported Dr. Robert Wilson. His hair had gone completely gray during the years of nonstop work. "We can begin the countdown whenever you're ready." Lisa took a deep breath. "Start the countdown, and make sure our message is ready to broadcast the moment we create an opening." For months, they had been sending short signals through the small weaknesses they'd found in the shield. They had received no reply, but they kept trying, hoping that someone, anyone, was listening. Today was different. Today they would punch a hole large enough for ships to pass through. "Powering up the disruptor," called out one of the technicians. The enormous machine began to hum, drawing energy from Earth's new fusion power network. On the other side of the planet, in New Geneva, President Thomas Gray addressed the United Earth Council. "Today may mark the end of our exile," he said to the assembled leaders. "Our fleet stands ready. If Commander Torres succeeds in breaching the shield, we will send ships to establish contact with the galaxy beyond." The room buzzed with nervous energy. Earth's military and exploration forces had been preparing for this day for years, building ships using new technologies developed during their isolation. "And if we encounter the Galactic Council?" asked one of the counselors. The president's expression hardened. "We will not seek revenge, but we will demand respect." Back at Project Breakthrough, the countdown reached 0. "Activate the disruptor," ordered Lisa. The machine fired a concentrated beam of energy toward a precise point in the shield, near Jupiter's orbit. On the main screen, they watched as the blue barrier flickered and then, miraculously, a small hole appeared. "It's working," shouted Robert. "Shield integrity down to 60% at the target point." Lisa grabbed the communication console. This is Earth to any human ships beyond the shield. We are breaking through. Repeat, we are breaking through. Across the room, a technician suddenly called out, "Commander, we're receiving a transmission through the opening." Lisa's heart raced. "Put it through." A familiar voice filled the control room. "This is Captain James Miller of the Phoenix. Earth, we hear you. We've been waiting." Cheers erupted throughout the facility. Lisa wiped tears from her eyes as she responded, "Captain Miller, this is Commander Torres. Prepare to come home. We're bringing down the shield." The disruptor continued its work, widening the hole in the alien barrier. Within hours, it had grown large enough for ships to pass through. The shield that had imprisoned Earth for 7 years was failing. Meanwhile, in the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council, an emergency session was underway. Reports of Vorn attacks filled the screens around the chamber. "3 more systems have fallen," reported a military advisor. "The Vorn fleet outnumbers our defense forces 2-1. High Counselor Drell, older now but still powerful, turned to his advisors. "What about the reports of human ships defending Ilara Prime?" A human man stepped forward. Marcus Green, one of the few humans who had been off-world when the exile began and had managed to gain a position as a minor council diplomat. "The ships are real, High Counselor," Marcus said. "And I have more news. Our monitoring stations near the Sol system report that the containment shield is failing. Earth is breaking free." Worried murmurs filled the hall. "Will they seek vengeance?" asked Counselor Vex, fear evident in his voice. Marcus smiled slightly. "That depends on you. But I suggest you consider this. You're losing a war against the Vorn. And Earth has just built an entirely new fleet that the Vorn have never encountered." The council chamber fell silent as the implications became clear. Earth was returning to the galaxy, and the timing couldn't have been more critical. The Earth fleet burst through the fallen shield like a swarm of angry bees. 100 ships of various sizes, all built during the 7 years of exile, all powered by technologies that had evolved in unexpected ways. Admiral William Stone commanded the flagship Defiance from its bridge. At 62 years old, he had been a naval captain before the exile. Now he led humanity's return to the stars. "All ships report ready," Admiral said, his second-in-command. "Course is set for the rendezvous point." William nodded, his weathered face showing little emotion. "Take us out. Maximum speed." The Earth ships accelerated to speeds that would have shocked the Galactic Council. Cut off from alien tech, humans had been forced to find their own solutions. The results were impressive. 3 days later, at a hidden location deep in neutral space, the Earth fleet met with Captain James Miller's Earthless fleet. It was an emotional reunion. "Your ships look nothing like standard Council designs," James said as he and William walked through the Defiance. "I barely recognize the technology." William smiled. "Necessity drove innovation. We had to start from scratch, using only what we knew and what we could discover." "The Council is losing the war against the Vorn," James told him. "They've already lost 12 star systems. The Vorn are pushing toward the Council homeworld, and they expect us to help." William raised an eyebrow. "After what they did to Earth." James stopped walking. "The Council doesn't know what to expect. They're afraid of us, but they're more afraid of the Vorn. Billions of innocent lives are at stake, not just Council species, but all the worlds caught in between." William considered this. "What would you suggest, Captain?" "The Vorn have never faced human tactics. They won't be ready for us." 2 days later, the combined human fleets arrived at Nexus Station, a major hub world now under siege by Vorn forces. 3 large Vorn battleships were bombarding the station's shields, which were close to failing. "This is Admiral Stone of the Earth Fleet to Nexus Station. We're here to help." The station controller responded with shock in his voice. "Earth? But how?" Explanations later. William cut him off. "Right now, you need to lower your shields on my mark, so we can deploy our ships inside your defense perimeter." "That's madness," the controller protested. The Vorn will destroy you and then us. Trust me, William insisted. Lower your shields when I give the word. As the human ships approached, the Vorn noticed them and redirected some of their fire. Energy weapons lashed out, but the Earth ships moved with surprising agility, their hulls reflecting much of the energy. Now, William commanded. The station's shields dropped momentarily. In that brief window, 50 small Earth fighters shot forward, passing through the gap before the shields raised again. The fighters took up position around the station, then released thousands of tiny drones. The drones swarmed toward the Vorn ships like metal insects, attaching to their hulls. Each drone began boring through the alien armor. "What are those?" asked a council officer who had come to the Defiance's bridge. "We call them diggers," William explained. "Automated drilling drones with small explosive packages." The Vorn ships began to shudder as explosions erupted across their hulls. Their fire became erratic, then stopped completely as systems failed. Meanwhile, the larger Earth ships engaged the remaining Vorn vessels. They fought unlike any ships the Council had ever seen, unpredictable, aggressive, and remarkably effective. Within an hour, the battle was over. The Vorn fleet retreated, leaving behind disabled ships and debris. On Nexus Station, Council officials watched in amazement as the human fleet regrouped. "They exiled us," Williams said to his bridge crew as reports of their victory spread across Council communication channels. "They thought they were containing a threat. Instead, they forced us to become stronger than they could imagine." He looked at the star map showing the advancing Vorn forces, and now, we take the fight to the enemy. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council looked much different than it had 7 years ago. Blast marks scared some of the walls. The once perfect windows now showed the signs of hasty repairs. But most noticeably, 4 humans stood at the center of the room not as accused, but as saviors. Admiral William Stone, Commander Lisa Torres, Captain James Miller, and President Thomas Gray faced the Council as equals. Behind them, on the massive screens, battles raged across the galaxy. But the tide had turned. The Vorn were retreating. "The combined human fleets have pushed the Vorn back from your core worlds," Admiral Stone reported, his voice strong and confident. "Their main fleet is scattered. Their supply lines are cut." High Counselor Drell, who had once sentenced Earth to exile, now looked much older and humbler. "You have done what our forces could not, Admiral. The Council owes humanity a debt that cannot be measured. And yet you tried to erase us from the galaxy," President Gray said, his tone not angry but matter-of-fact. "You feared what we might become, so you locked us away." The Council chamber fell silent. Many members looked down, unable to meet the humans' eyes. Commander Torres stepped forward. "The shield you placed around our world did not contain us. It challenged us. In 7 years, we advanced our technology by centuries. We united our planet in ways we never had before. And those of us stranded outside learned to survive among the stars," added Captain Miller. "We studied your species, your technologies, your weaknesses. We became the eyes and ears of Earth when you thought you had blinded us." Counselor Vex, once so dismissive of humans, now spoke with reluctant respect. "What do you want from us now?" "Revenge." President Gray shook his head. "If revenge was our goal, we could have let the Vorn destroy you. We want something more valuable. A new beginning. A place at this table as equals, not as children to be judged." He placed a data crystal on the center table. "This is our proposal for a new galactic charter. One that recognizes the rights of all spacefaring species to determine their own path, so long as they do not threaten others." High Counselor Drell picked up the crystal, examining it before inserting it into the Council's system. The proposed charter appeared on screens around the room. "This would fundamentally change the power structure of the Council," one member objected. "The old structure failed," Admiral Stone pointed out. "It led to this war. It led to our exile. Perhaps it's time for something new." As the Council members read through the proposal, Captain Miller watched their reactions. Some looked upset, others thoughtful. A few even seemed relieved. "We will need time to consider this," Drell finally said. "The Vorn have retreated, but they are not defeated," Commander Torres reminded them. "We suggest you don't take too long." 3 days later, the council reconvened. Representatives from dozens of worlds filled the chamber, including many that had never held council seats before. High Counselor Drell stood at the center. "After much debate, the council has voted to accept the human proposal, with minor modifications that have been agreed upon by Earth's representatives." Applause filled the chamber. President Gray and Admiral Stone shook hands with Drell, a gesture the alien had learned was important to humans. Later, on the observation deck of the Earth flagship Defiance, the 4 human leaders watched as ships from across the galaxy moved through space, many heading toward Earth for the first diplomatic missions in 7 years. "They thought they were protecting the galaxy from us," James said with a small smile. "Instead, they forced us to become the protectors of the galaxy," Lisa added. William looked out at the stars. "They exiled us to protect themselves. Now they need us to protect them all." Thomas nodded, watching as an Earth ship escorted a Council diplomatic vessel toward their home planet. The Galactic Council exiled Earth, and it was the biggest mistake they ever made. And so began humanity's true place among the stars, not as dangerous children to be contained, but as partners, protectors, and pioneers of a new galactic age.